So can you give me an idea on where you think the landing point is, Mohamed, 12 months out? Are you there yet? Can you do that? Do you have that kind of visibility at all?
So I think that when it comes to the choice in the world of second best, because the Fed has missed the first best policy response, it was too slow. When it comes to the choice between the second best, you've heard me say this, it's either take the risk of slamming on the brakes, containing inflationary expectation at the cost of the economy, or alternatively, let it run hot, live with higher inflation, hope that down the road, productivity gains, self-healing supply chains and labor markets will help you out. I think now the probability of the second scenario has gone up. So at the end of the year, I suspect we'll end up with 4, maybe 5 hikes at most, and inflation will still be running hot. Inflation expectations will be an issue, but the hope for the Federal Reserve will be to be bailed out by productivity, unlikely, or then have to do something much harder later on. And I think that's where we're going, John, right now.
Mohamed, where do you think that leaves market conditions, not market pricing? The work that you've been doing at Gramercy for a while now, you think about the illiquidity in a world full of liquidity, the irony of that. Mohamed, market conditions, what do you think they look like? What do you think they develop into in the coming months, quarters?
So it's hard to say because the conditioning has been to be incredibly risk-loving. So it's hard to say. But I suspect that as the marketplace sees inflation remaining an issue, you will have a tightening of financial conditions, and you're going to have pockets of illiquidity. And liquidity hasn't been priced in well for a while now. And I think that we're coming to a stage where we're going to have to price liquidity much more reasonably than we have in the past.
Mohamed, I know you've made some time for us today because you've got a really busy agenda, but this is an important moment. If I can fit one final question in, where's your focus on at the moment? What are you focused on? What will you be looking for going into the weekend and going through to next week?
So let me tell you where my focus is not. I am not trying to predict what's going on the ground. I think it is extremely difficult to predict that. Rather, I'm stepping back and having a few guiding principles. We know that this was a surprise to most, so there's very little hedging that has been put in place. We know that the marketplace has rushed to embrace the COVID playbook. This is not the COVID playbook. This is not something that liquidity can get us out of. So I am saying this is still early on. We retain a lot of flexibility. Don't commit to a certain outcome because there's a whole range of potential outcomes. And just be humble and have humility through this. This is a major change. This is the sort of thing that we will be talking to our kids and our grandkids about in terms of major geopolitical changes.